Alright, hi guys, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be making twisted carrot cake jam. Now, I had made maple glazed carrots back in September and canned them and posted the video and said that I'd be making carrot cake jam and making a video of it and posting it, and then I totally forgot because life came up, my dad got sick. All kinds of things happened. Oh, crazy. So here we are. I'm going to be making twisted carrot cake jam. I have 2 pints of home canned pineapple and 1 pint of my maple glazed carrots. Alright, next step. Alright guys, let's get started on this twisted carrot cake jam. First thing we're going to do is take 2 jars of pints home canned pineapple. I should have opened these before I started. And we're just going to save all the juice. We want to save all that juice because that gets used. All that juice gets used to make the jam. We're just going to drain it, and we're going to let it all sit there for a little bit so it drains really, really well, because then we're going to... That wasn't a big enough thing. Hang on, guys. There we go. We want to get all that pineapple juice, as much of it drained off as possible. Yes, we're going to be, again, mixing them all right back up together, but we want to get it drained so that when we crush the pineapple, it's perfect. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright, next step. We're going to take the pineapple and we're going to put it through our... You can crush it up really, really well if you don't have a blender. I have a Ninja, so I'm going to send it through my Ninja. If you're buying store-bought, you want to buy a large can of the crushed pineapple and then drain the juice. Now, next thing I wanted to say, the reason the pineapple looks 2 different colors, one of them looks darker and one of them looks lighter, is one of the pineapples was canned in light syrup made with cane sugar, and the cane sugar, of course, is a dark sugar, so it makes your pineapple look dark, whereas the other is a pint jar of pineapples canned in water, because I had a little bit of pineapple left and I had filled up all of my kids' little snack jars, and I canned my kids' pineapple snack jars in just water because the pineapple itself is more than enough sugar for kids. And I purposely sometimes can pineapple in light syrup because I use the pineapple canned in light syrup for my baked goods. So, and I'm down to 2 cans of pineapple and I'm making jam, so I had 1 of each kind, and so I'm using them. Alright, now I have all my pineapple. There's about 1.5 pints of pineapple juice in here. And then I'm going to send this through the Ninja blender. And then we're going to pull out that pint of maple glazed carrots I made in another video. We're going to drain these. We're going to use the maple syrup in the jam, but we want them strained separately because the carrots get crushed with a potato masher. So we're going to let all this strain. I'm going to send that pineapple through the Ninja and we'll be back, you guys. Alright, here we go. We have our big jelly pot, jam pot. This is a heavy bottom stainless steel pot. And here we have our drained maple glazed carrots. Crush them all up. You can leave them whole if you want to and they'll semi-break down, but we have discovered that we like them nice and crushed up. So I crush them up. Now, regular carrot cake jam calls for fresh grated carrots. Like I said, this is twisted carrot cake jam. So we use maple glazed carrots. And I crush them up really, really well. Alright, next, I have that pineapple that I crushed. Now you can do thick, and you can have just crushed, and you can send it just through the Ninja chopper, but we like ours a little bit more than crushed. We like ours kind of, well, yeah, blended down pretty good, but not a pure mush. We kind of like it, like, fruit slushy style thickness. It's semi-mixed up. Alright. Then we dump all that maple glazed carrot juice and all that pineapple juice. And hang on, I gotta grab a pectin. Then I have one of my 8-ounce jars of homemade pectin, and as you can see on the bottom, you see that down there? That's the pectin. So we've got to shake it all up really well. Then we add that. Now pectin doesn't count towards the amount of liquid. The liquid homemade pectin I make, I have videos on that in my canning list. Look for that. Next, sugar. Now, because this is pineapple and because this is maple glazed carrots, there's already a bunch of sugar in here. So I only add 1 cup of sugar. 1/3, 2/3, 1 cup. And then I turn it on medium high. And then I mix it all up. Here I have a stainless steel spoon. And I just get it all mixed up. And it'll take all together from this point to in the jars, you'll have a good 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes of boil down. It all depends upon how it feels that day. When you're using homemade pectin and all natural fruit juices and sugar syrup, from one batch to the next using the exact same stuff, the exact same, I mean I could turn around and make another batch using the exact same pineapple and maple glazed carrots from the same batches, and it would take a different amount of time to boil down. When it's all natural, it takes the amount of time it takes, and it's done when it wants to be done. Now you can put it on high, and it'll take less time, but then there's more of a chance of it burning. So I do it on medium, so I never have to worry about burning. And then we just let it boil, and instead of having to constantly stir it because it's on high, I only need to stir it at this starting point about every minute and a half, and then as it starts to boil, you stir it about every minute. And then when it gets down way to the end, when it's almost done, you want to be stirring it about every 15 to 20 seconds. It doesn't need to have a constant stir when it's on medium. It needs to have a constant stir when it's on high. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, we have been boiling for 45 minutes, and we are at about the halfway point. Now, on camera you should be able to tell that this is already more syrupy and thicker. All the water has now boiled out, and now we're just working on the actual natural fruit juices from the pineapple. Because when you can, and yes, natural juices from the pineapple, because when I can all my pineapple, whether or not I use water or light syrup, all the juice that comes out of the pineapple from cutting it up, and then I always take the pineapple skin itself the big skin from the pineapple after we've cored it out, because we use one of those twisty things for our pineapple. I then turn that upside down and I squeeze as much of the pineapple juice out of it as I can. And then I make up all my jars and I put a little bit of the pineapple juice in every jar. And then when you process the jars, the pineapple juice and the water or the syrup that it's canned in, of course, will turn into like a pineapple water syrup. Yeah, it's really good. So it is the natural juices from the pineapples. And then we've got the pancake syrup in there because the maple glazed carrots, it's half pancake syrup and half water that the carrots are canned in. So we've boiled out all the water and all that's in here is maple syrup and pineapple juices. And then the carrots and the pineapple itself, and then sugar. So now we're at the stage where it's getting ready to actually become jam. If you wanted, you could turn it off now and you'd have a really thin pancake syrup. If we boil it a little bit longer, we'll have a thick pancake syrup. And then we'll boil it down to where it's pretty much just the pineapple and the carrots, and that is your jam. Alright guys, we're just going to keep letting this boil and we'll be back. Alright, I've been boiling for an hour and this would be the point. You see that? Even now that I stirred it up, even more of the liquid is gone and you've got mostly just carrots and pineapple and a little bit of the juice syrup left. This would be the point where you turn it off to have a thick pancake syrup. And then of course, before you use the pancake syrup, when it's in the fridge, you'd shake the jar up and then pour it over your pancakes. This twisted carrot cake jam makes an amazing pancake syrup. I have several times made this just as a pancake syrup, because remember, it's maple glazed carrots. But I'm gonna keep letting it boil. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, I have been boiling for an hour and 20 minutes and I wanted to show you this and discuss this with you because it's really important when you're making the twisted carrot cake jam my way. Okay. It's been boiling again for a minute with me not touching it, and you see all that liquid that has come up to the top. This means that it is not ready to be a jam, but after a minute of boiling, there's not a layer of water. It's more of a small puddle of liquid. Let's stir it up. This stage here would actually be really good for a spread. A little bit thicker, a lot thicker than a syrup, but more of like a fruit spread for bagels and English muffins or toasted bread. And then you stir it up really good, and then if you let it sit for a minute and boil, the liquid will come to the top. And you want to keep boiling it until the 1 minute mark if you're making jam. You want to keep boiling it until at the 1 minute mark there's pretty much no liquid coming to the top. As you can see, even after like 10 or 15 seconds, it's starting to get a puddle. So this is not ready for jam at all, but it will make a really nice thick spread, fruit spread. And being as it's maple syrup, again, it's going to add a wonderful breakfast flavor. Now I know it hasn't been a minute and I'm stirring it, but at this stage, unless you're testing it to see if it's done, And you don't even need to let it boil the full minute to know whether or not it's done. I like to just stand over it here and stir it about every 15 to 30 seconds. And if you're testing it to see if it's finished, you want to let it boil for a minute. But I can see the liquid coming up. So as I'm standing here, I'm just going to keep stirring it. Alright guys, at this stage of boiling, I've been talking for like 2.5 minutes. My timer here says I've been boiling for 1 hour and 23 minutes. At this stage, I can tell you it's probably got 5 to 10 minutes left. I've made a lot of this, so I've gotten really good at timing. The more and more and more and more jams, jellies, preserves, syrups, spreads, fruit preservation, the more and more you do it, the better and better you get at noticing it and knowing when it's done. When you're using all natural recipes, or you're not using store-bought pectin. Like when you're using all natural pectin like I do, you'll get better and better at recognizing when it's at that finished point. Alright guys, like I said, another 5 to 10 minutes of boiling. So I'll bring you back. Alright guys, we're done. That's what it looks like after a minute of boiling. Now the liquid will never completely go away. It's just you want it to be pretty much nothing. So we turn it off. We stir it one more time because I haven't stirred it for a full minute. Now it's been 1 minute and 20 seconds. And we're just going to let it sit after we stirred. We're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to put it into our washed, sterilized jars that have baked in the oven for 20 minutes on 250 degrees. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright, here we go you guys. We have our jars all washed, cleaned, sterilized, baked in a oven for 15 minutes on 250 degrees. Alright, here we have our twisted carrot cake jam. And when I was looking at it and stirring it after the 5 minutes was up from it cooling a little bit, I realized, you know, this is more of a butter than a jam. But because of the way you make it, it is a jam. So, anyways, all we're going to do, put it into our jars. I use this for a sample jar or a giveaway jar for friends. And then I have larger 8-ounce jars that I sell. Alright guys, I'm going to fill the rest of these up. I'll probably get 1 sample jar and 2 or 3 8-ounce for sale jars. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, there we have it. I got 4 jars. I got 2 full 8-ounce jars and 1 full 4-ounce jar, and then a partial 8-ounce jar. So what you do is, in here, I have apple cider vinegar water and hot water. And then you wipe off the rims. I use cheesecloth. Boom. Wipe off the rim. Lid. Ring. Boom. Then we're going to process this in a water bath canner for 35 minutes. Alright guys, we'll be back. This partial 8-ounce jar will not be processed. I put a reusable lid on it. This goes right in my fridge. Alright guys, we have it in our stock pot. 1 inch of water above the tops. I put that apple cider vinegar water into the water bath canner. Put on the lid, turn it on high, bring it up to processing, which is a boil, and start the timer. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, this is processing, a full rolling boil, and we're going to set our timer and let it process for 35 minutes, and then we're going to turn it off and let it cool. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, it's been processing for 35 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the lid and turn it off and let it sit for about 5 minutes before we pull it out and set them on the counter to cool. Alright guys, it's been 5 minutes. We pull them out, set them on the pan, try not to tip them too much, and we let them cool. I let them sit in one spot right after coming out of the cannon for about 8 hours. And then I move them to what I call their setting spot. I have a spot in my kitchen where they sit for the remainder, and I let them sit for 24 hours before I put them on the shelf, and then I label them and put them on the shelf, and boom, ready to go. So we'll be back when these are all done. There it is, you guys. 4 jars. One of them didn't seal, which is fine. It'll go in my fridge. It won't last long with my kids around. They'll eat this up quickly. We have a nice, thick, it turns out more like a butter than an actual jam, but because of the way you cook it, it's a jam. So there we go. 4 really nice jars of twisted carrot cake jam. Alright guys, thanks for coming along on this adventure, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and share it. It really helps my channel. For every time you leave me a thumbs up, it helps YouTube recommend my videos to more people. So, alright guys, we'll see you in the next one, and remember, stay positive. Bye! Oh, and leave any comments down below on other things you'd like to see me make. Bye guys!